Welcome. It's your man Got a Dots back with a special episode of the Audible Freestyle Friday. Boy. Hope everybody's had a good week. I know that I have. It has been a hell of a day. It has been a hell of a day. My brother needed some quiet time and a quiet space for a minute. So I kind of get into tonight's topic, and we'll kind of see where it goes. Let me kind of do this just in case anybody shows up and wants to hit the panel. If not, I get up here and rock out with the material that I have. Boy. Hell of a day. And it continues. But anyway, like I said, Freestyle Friday. For those who are new to the channel, remember, like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. What I like to do on Freestyle Fridays is mix sports and mix in a little bit of social issues and that kind of stuff that kind of pop up from time to time, stories that break and that kind of stuff, and have a open and honest discussion about what's going on, necessarily in the sports world, but looking at it from a different angle. That is the purpose of the Freestyle Friday show. May make it part of the regular rotation depending on how I'm feeling or what kind of comes out. So for those who are regular viewers of the show, hey, every Tuesday and Thursday we breaking down the NFL content. Stay tuned. Towards the end of this month, I will be doing a full NBA preview before the season kind of tips off. We'll be doing that. But in the meantime, in between time, let me kind of get into it. Hey, you know how I am. I rock out with what I have. It's kind of a follow-up to last week's episode of Freestyle Friday. If you missed it, go back and check it out. And we were talking about the Black Effect, and Dr. Nikki showed up to the show earlier this week. Shout out to her for her support of the channel. But she showed up early this week, and we wanted to kind of follow up on a discussion that we were having then when we were talking about the effect Deion Sanders has had on college football. We kind of dove into it a lot last week, and just wanted to kind of follow up with it. And it's another story that I wanted to kind of bring to the table and have an open discussion about it. And we'll kind of see where it goes. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. But if you caught last Saturday's game, Colorado got blew out. But a lot was made about the halftime speech of Dan Lanning, who is the head coach of the Oregon football team. And, I get you want to use bulletin board material to fire up your team. And this is a time-old tradition in sports to take audio clips, news clippings and stuff like that the opposing team has said or gestures they've done, or just trying to find any kind of a psychological edge. How you doing, Dr. Nikki? Find any kind of psychological edge to motivate your players. But Dan Lanning took the time to not only motivate the players, he was already up in the game by a good 4 touchdowns. Hold on for a second. Everybody got, what's been going on around the world lately. Brother gotta put up a little something. Give me a second. How you doing, young lady?
I am well. What's good with you?
Not much. I had to come over here to the quiet space for a little bit, and
for sure. Yeah, I just left Ratchetdemia, so I just came over here to make sure I didn't stand you up, since this was partly my suggestion.
Yeah, I was kind of listening in. I was like, you know what, I need a break.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. But I think that with some of the stuff that's going on right now, not to, digress and be too specific, I think it's a good thing, because it's a lot of stuff that's coming to the surface that needs to.
Yeah, and I was going to kind of talk about that on the front porch, because I've observed, me, I'm observant. I'm watching and I'm listening, and it's a lot of stuff that's people's true feelings and motivations are coming out, and it needs to happen at this point. But I'll get into that further later on tonight. But yeah, you came in at the start of the show. Hell, just me and you know how it is over here.
But wait. Can I say one more thing about that?
Go ahead.
So, but this is what needs to happen in order for somebody else to continue to feel uncomfortable, because their goal was to keep everybody separated and in these silos, and left hand not knowing what the right hand's doing. So you got people holding grudges when they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And if you keep people separated, they can't come together to sift out, what's really what, to understand all of this other stuff is a distraction off of this main person, so that that other person is really good with throwing stuff off when the heat is on them.
Yeah, and it's a sector wide problem, but like I said,
but it's by design. And again, I peeped that a long time ago.
Yeah, I saw the forest for the trees. I saw the games and the stuff that was going on, and it's only the tip of the iceberg. What's been happening, especially over the past week or so, it's only the tip of the iceberg. And I think it's going to go a lot deeper, and a lot more is going to come out. And for me, in my own personal opinion, it's just past due.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
But drama. I mean, Dots. I promise you. I'm trying to make your Christmas card list, because I'm gonna deliver something that's gonna be the sonic boom. And after that, I don't want to hear about nobody else with body bags, because mine's gonna. There's nothing that anybody can do to top what I'm getting ready to do.
and I'm waiting patiently for that.
I know, but trust me, it'll be worth the wait. I promise you.
All right, because you about to make this front porch light, but we're gonna do that a little bit later. Like I said, I got some commentary, some things that I observed, and I speak on it. I don't hold my tongue on what I'm seeing, but let's talk about what we're seeing in the world of college football. Like we talked about Deion last week.
For sure.
We talked about Deion last week, and I know you caught the comments made by the Oregon head coach during the halftime. They're doing it for clicks, we're doing it for views. And the reason why I put up the thumbnail of Jesse Owens, because I wanted to have a much deeper conversation, kind of like follow what we did last week when we talking about the Black effect. And Jesse Owens, I think this is a symbol, a very early symbol of how we have to, as far as Black people, have to overachieve to be accepted. Here it is.
Well, Jack Johnson too.
Well, I mean,
I think he's before him, right? Yeah.
Jack is before him, but I'm saying, Jesse Owens is a more well-known.
Well, he's international.
Yeah, international. He's a much more well-known sports icon.
And less controversial.
That too. But I put him up on the thumbnail because and I'm going to transition a little bit later in the show when we're talking about the Black gymnast in Ireland and that situation. I got the clip of that. For those who missed it, how you doing, Miss Murph? For those that missed it, and just how we as Black people have to do twice as good to be accepted when they have to put in less effort than we do. And when we're talking about Deion, here it is, a man has took over a team that won one game last year. He's come in and already has 3 wins, so he's done a better job than the guy they get fired.
Absolutely.
But it seems that certain college football
with many of the same players, so we gotta admit that many of the same players, because it wasn't like he brought in a brand new team.
That is not lost on me, but it seems to be lost on
absolutely
a lot of these head coaches, and what gets me is a lot of these sports analysts. Certain sports analysts are critiquing him much more harshly than they would any other first year college football head coach. I mean, here's a guy that's coming from the HBCU. He's taken over a Power 5 school, but nobody's has been talking about Colorado football for well over 30 years. So it's
who's ranked 19. So we're not talking about a top 10 ranked team.
That too. But they using him to get off. To me, is like veiled undercover racist shots when they discussing him and the program that he's got going on. Even some of the players on his team, and it is very for me it's kind of unsettling to see it. On such a when we should just be focusing in on the football. It's so much is being made more about the man than what's being produced on the field. And like I said, I think they're taking this time. How you doing, beautiful? I think they're taking this time, week by week, and it's recurring theme. Some coaches said this, or whoever they're playing it's got sound bites, and it really ruffles their feathers. And to me, it's undercover, low key. Would you be making these same comments about a white coach?
But it's jealousy too.
That too.
because they know that Deion, with the name that he has and just the connections that he has, that they don't have by virtue of him being on a global platform, by being a professional athlete. They're jealous of what could happen, not even what has happened. So to me, that's a bigger, that would be what we would call in academia. That's the meta narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you notice, the coach's halftime comments had nothing to do with what is actually happening on the field. It's all about the coach, not the team.
Mm-hmm.
And not like the analytics of what has happened, so far. Like, I don't understand that. Because, like, in the NFL, I've never heard. Now, it doesn't mean it hadn't happened. I've never heard coaches at halftime talking about the other coach on the other team, and flashiness and, all this other kind of stuff.
I agree with you. And because I would say this about the NFL, it's a little bit different.
It's a lot different. I get it, but I'm just talking about, coaches' conversations, because I'm sure we'll see. And I didn't mean to cut you off, but I get excited about stuff like this. Like, I really do. So charge it to my heart and my love for Blackness. It's the fact that even with the other teams of college football that day, they weren't talking about the other team like this man was talking about Sanders.
Yes.
During their halftime speeches, you're supposed to be motivating, not taking shots at the other coach. The other coach is not playing.
Well, you know, like we said, the cameras was there, and he took his time to, in a game that you guys were already up big at the half.
Exactly, which they should have been.
Yeah, because they were there. They were the better team, and this was like the issue I had with the comments. If he'd have said it before the game, it would have still kind of stung. But I would like, okay, you're trying to motivate your guys before the game to come out hyped up. I get that. Because sometimes Deion is bulletin board material, unfairly in my opinion, but he's bulletin board material. But for you to take a shot at him in the game that you're blowing them out, just like you wanted to get that off your chest, you wanted it for your own clicks and views.
It was unsportsmanlike conduct.
Yeah, but
that you're modeling for your team. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But you good. But like I was saying about the NFL, it's a bit different when we're talking about college football, because in college football, the head football coach is a much more prominent figure when we're talking about the team. Like when I say the University of Alabama, Roll Tide, when I say the University of Alabama, the first thing that pops into your mind is not a player, it's the head coach.
It's the coach.
With the NFL, it's a little bit different. I can say a team's name, and you won't be thinking about the head coach unless that's your team. If I say
you think about the franchise players.
Yeah, but college football is a little bit different, because in essence, how it's kind of structured, and the money they're getting paid and all of that kind of stuff, the head coach is the franchise player. So I get it. Deion is going to be a target. Not only this season, it's going to be a target. As long as he continues to coach. And I look at it also, their comments that they're making is a way to try to undermine his future recruiting efforts. So, I mean,
that and then too, to get into the psyche of like these younger players, which is easier for them to do. Again, the other team had, and I'm not making excuses for them. I mean, when you lose, you just lose. It is what it is. Yeah. But you got another team. So they were playing against a better team with more seasoned players who are used to winning. Like, I don't think people really understand that sometimes losing is like a mentality. It's not necessarily just the way you play the game. Some people are defeated before they even get on the field because these teams are dynasties or what have you, and they don't even expect to win. So it ain't no heat if they lose, because people are expecting them to lose, as opposed to going out there thinking, no, you put your football pads on just like I do, and hey, it's a new day.
Yeah. I mean, but it's like I said, I wanted to follow up last week, because I started thinking about it, and I played the Simone Biles clip in a second, in regards to the black gymnast from Ireland. We have to do and not just in sports, just in life in general, we have to work twice as hard to get half of what they got. And
We have to be phenomenal against their average.
That part, it's a lot of football coaches in college football who are, in my opinion, who have done horrible jobs are still holding on to the jobs. This guy is 3 games in to playing D1, and they were scared of him coming in the door.
Right, or they'll get recycled. So again, white schools recycle trash just like black schools do.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about these dogs barking. I'm sitting outside on the porch.
No, you fine. You fine.
Look, I'm already on the front porch.
Yeah, you right. You're right, Miss Murphy, and everything. But I wanted to kind of keep it centralized on sports. Like, we just have to do so much more to even get half of what they have. Like, if Deion was a white coach, Colorado wouldn't even be in a discussion. Wouldn't be on the national stage. I wouldn't give a damn if what their ranking was. They'd have to be number 1 in the country to get the kind of attention that they're getting now.
Right, like if he was Tom Brady or Brett Favre, all the respect.
Well, you know how that goes. And it kind of brings me back with another problem that I have when I'm watching commentary on them is, it's the white analysts, but then you got those black analysts who are jumping on the bandwagon and not seeing the bigger picture for what it really is. You're doing it for sound bites. You're trying to sound catchy. You're trying to get into the algorithm. You're trying to go viral with some of the commentary, and this is sad. It's sad, as I'm not saying everybody needs to be a fan of Deion or be a fan of the program.
Right, but you could be fair.
But be fair. But I would say this: I take the same stance that they do with their athletes, their quote unquote sports icons. Stay on code. Stay on code. Don't if you want to critique the highest teams performing, Deion, he's done a bad job coaching. They're under 500, yada yada yada. Fine, but just to join in with the pot shots is very unbecoming, especially coming from the black men that I see on the ESPNs and the Fox Sports. Like dude, why? Like, you don't see the bigger picture of what's going on here. And it's and I don't want to call them coons, but it's it's borderline like that. Like,
it's cooning at its finest.
Why you can't get on code when it comes to him? Like, you trying to I don't want to call it cooning, but to a degree that's what it is, because they don't criticize their own like that. They'll scrutinize what what they do as far as the results and their records and how the teams are performing and that kind of stuff, but they don't when stuff comes out about them or certain white players, they keep that on the hush. You don't hear about it. It might just be something on the sports ticker. They're not going live at the top of the show with that kind of news. But when it's us, it's balls to the wall. We're gonna break down him. I'm just waiting for something to come out from Deion's playing days. Something they don't dug up or something. Deion, had an affair with some random chick back in '95 or some stuff. It's any way to kind of slander this man, discredit this man.
Or that he has ineligible players, or there's something with the academic side, like his players aren't passing a class, like that big thing they had. Probably it's been within the past 10 years, because as I said, I've been teaching for a long time, but I think it was probably within the last 10 years when they went through at UNC Chapel Hill and revoked the degrees in the African American program, because that's where all the football players were going, and they found out they weren't going to class. So what they did is that they revoked the degrees from everybody who graduated out of that program for a 10-year period.
Wow.
And not just the football team. They did it for everybody who came out with that degree. Never seen anything like that happen in the history of academia.
Okay, to answer your question, Ms. Murphy, trust me, it's something out there. They're waiting. They're waiting for him to really start struggling and falling on hard times. And that's when you get those stories. Kind of like when I was talking about earlier this week about Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears. Trust me, stuff is going to start leaking out about him in a negative light. So it's coming, Miss Murphy. It's coming. Don't worry about it. they got something in the tuck, somebody that he messed around with back at Florida State when he was in college. It happens. You don't think it happens? Look at Bill Cosby. They'll sit on that stuff for decades before they come out and really get down with the tearing them down stuff. But let me kind of get into this clip. I don't know if you saw it. It's a little short news clip I saw.
Well, just mark my prediction about the academic side.
I believe you. I believe you. I mean, I'm serious. I believe you because they got to find something.
Exactly.
They got to find something to nitpick at. It's a weekly thing. But trust me, it'll let me put this up here. Give me a second.
The matter, and an apology was issued to the girl who received her medal.
Okay, so what I'm
room for racism after a video.
Oh, like this ain't your first time doing this. Okay, so what you about to see here is a news clip that came out. It was a story that happened back in 2022, back in Ireland. You see here there's an award ceremony for some girls gymnastics team, and all the young ladies are lined up to get their medals or whatever. And you notice it's only one black gymnast in the group. But I'm gonna play the clip, and we're gonna come back with commentary.
Went viral of a black girl not being given a medal at an Irish gymnastics event ceremony. Now, this happened last March, but the incident had reemerged on social media and been watched by millions. Biles says the video broke her heart. Gymnastics Ireland has issued a statement regarding the matter, and an apology was issued to the girl who received her medal after the ceremony.
All right, I'm back. What you think about that?
Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Let me tell you something. When it comes to my children, it would have been another story about me coming from out of the stands to say, excuse me, did you forget a medal? Did you not have enough money to buy? Man. Okay.
Yeah. Here's some more follow-up to the story for those who haven't caught on to it. The story this situation happened last year. They kind of addressed it, but it never went viral like that until it popped back up recently over the past about a week or so. I'm heavy in Twitter Spaces, so yeah, they all own this stuff in Twitter. But the initial excuse that came out from that athletic organization or group or whatever that was holding that event was it was an honest mistake. It wasn't intentional, and as you can clearly see, they're all lined up. And
that's cute. It's an honest mistake to walk right by somebody and look at them and make eye contact. Man, okay.
Not making eye contact, and the girl, congratulations to her, shout out to her, because she was obviously not of our culture, because our culture would have been like, hold up, like you said, somebody would have came out of the stands, where first thing my child would have been like, where's mine,
exactly. Because we teach our children to speak up, like, don't skip over me. Where's my participation medal? Because my mama already paid for it. Thank you.
Exactly. Just to have her up there and just blatantly, we're going to skip you. And then they said, she got hers after the ceremony, and that that's like another backhanded kind of tactic they do. Like, we'll give you your stuff in private. We won't celebrate you publicly for what you did. We'll give it to you in private. And I was like, this is so fucked up.
Like her medal was a consolation prize. Get out of here.
But here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. Like I said, I'm heavy in the Twitter Spaces on this. You got people that are upset at Simone Biles for bringing this back up to the attention of the public and saying she's and race inciting comments. Like, how could you say that kind of stuff? And when it's clear as day, that's not an honest mistake. That was clearly intentional. But you have those in certain spaces that are upset that how could you why they hate when you call out their bullshit. They hate when you call out their racism. And it's like, I mean, you ought to see some of the stuff I've seen on Twitter and some of the spaces, like breaking this down, like maybe she wasn't that good, or maybe trying to how we like to say Nick explain it away. A lot of people are up, she's receiving a lot of backlash for even speaking out on this. Like, how could you, have an opinion? Why would you say that kind of stuff? It's race inciting, but it's clear as black and white is what you saw on the screen there is what happened. That was clearly racially motivated. You can't tell me that was unintentional. It wasn't like the little girls was running around and, I missed her because she wasn't in the right spot. She's lined up right next to her teammates and you clearly passed over. So.
Right. And the concept of team is what you do for one, you do for all. If there's no placement, if there's no first, second, third, where they're standing up on a podium, what you do for one, you do for all. That's how you build. That's the concept of team.
Mm-hmm.
No one's greater than the team. I tell you what, there was no I in that team, but it was damn sure you in there, and you won't get a medal.
Yeah, like I said, that was I watched it the first time, before seeing all the commentary. I was like, whoa, couldn't be me. I'm just gonna say, and here's another thing about the story. Her parents, made a statement that they felt offended, and all, but they didn't want to bring attention to themselves about the story. They just like, we was offended by it, and we. At this point, we just wish it, the story would kind of go away. I'm like, wow. Like,
but see, I can understand the parents saying that for the simple fact that their child is too young to be taking on, this type of a charge or to be the poster child for that. That's a lot for a child. So I can understand that. But Simone Biles is doing what she's supposed to do, because what she's doing is exercising the power and the what do you call it? It's another word I'm looking for to go along with, and responsibility that she has to speak out on stuff like that, because I'm sure it was her when she was younger.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. So no, she's supposed to speak out on stuff like that and call it for what it is, because had it been the other way around, they would never let us forget that, why the white child, or reverse racism, or man, we would never be able to live that down, because what you're not going to do in America is mistreat that Aryan blood. That's what you're not going to do. That Aryan Christian blood, you're not going to mistreat that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and you're not going to not acknowledge it or submit to it. And that's what we see in just about all areas of sports. And again, what I appreciate about you having these types of conversations, or creating the space for this type of conversation, is that people like to throw around the word racist and racism and what have you. But a lot of people don't understand what it looks like in different areas, because it's not always like a black and a white. Although the young lady was black, it could be something as simple as, like, if she were, not only was she black, she was black and dark skinned. If she were mixed or lighter skinned, that woman would not have skipped over her, because she would have been similar to the rest of the team.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, people don't understand like all the nuanced ways that racism presents itself. And, it just looks different in every institution that there is. It doesn't look the same in politics as it does in sports, or, government, etc., what have you. So I try to be very careful when I'm using this term to describe a particular incident, because I was on somebody else's platform and they were talking about, what's racist and racism, what have you. And I talked about the whole power dynamic of it and the ability to control someone else's outcomes. So what they did was pull up a dictionary definition. Now, anytime you have to go to the dictionary for a definition, that means you don't understand how to use the word.
Yeah.
Because application of something is different than like this rote memorization of, I know the definition, but how does the word work in the context of, other words around it, and when it's used as a different part of speech?
That part.
Exactly. So, it's about prejudice and pop, do-wop, shooby-doo. And I'm just like, okay, I am not going to argue this with you because clearly you're stuck on a very elementary and a surface level of how this operates. And if this is where this conversation is, this is not the space for me because I'm interested in equipping people with knowing racism when you see it so that when you're fighting against things in different situations, you know how to fight back. Because, Dots, have you heard the term that people are not fighting about what they're angry over?
I've heard that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And this applies in this here. So it was not just the fact that she was a black girl. It was black and dark skin with coarse hair. It's all of those things in there that Simone Biles did not bring up that she could have if you really wanted to have a deep conversation about it. Because Simone Biles is a dark skinned person and she understands. She understands.
Yeah.
So it's not, go ahead. So it's not just about that. It's about, people trying to have an argument about something when you don't understand exactly what is attacking you. So you try to fight back with something you think is obvious, which is why you don't win.
Yeah. And another thing, when I saw this story the first time, the first thing that kind of popped in my mind, outside of that, incident right there is it reminded me of when Venus and Serena hit the tennis circuit.
Oh, absolutely. With those braids and beads, man.
I was like, you know what? Like I said, sports is a little bit different. It's how they show their racism.
Absolutely.
With them, it's not it's not really critiquing. It's levels depending on what sport it is. It's levels like in football. It was the black man is not smart enough to be quarterback.
Right. In football, it's about what position you have and then the money associated with it.
Yeah. And you still see that level of racism. It's a little bit more covert than it used to be. A little bit more covert, but even with let's say black quarterbacks, they have to be exceptionally gifted to even get on the team and hold their spot, where you got guys that have just been average quarterbacks their entire lives can keep jobs.
Well, and look a certain way, if I can interject, because remember one of the issues with Colin Kaepernick was the tattoos on his arms, although they were Bible verses.
Mm-hmm.
They had a problem with him being tatted up and down on his arms because he's a quarterback and supposed to be the leader of the team.
Yeah. I mean, you can point to plenty of examples throughout sports where, like I said, they're a little bit more covert with it when it comes to sports, and depending on what sport it is, how they display it and how they put it out there. And I'm kind of bringing it back to Deion Sanders' situation. Like, he's not a player. So you can't really critique, him having tattoos or that kind of stuff. I mean, but they've got to the point that he wears what was the coach, Colorado State? Anytime I greet people, I take my hat off, take my shades off, like that. Like, you don't have manners. You wasn't how my grandma used to say, you weren't home trained the right way.
Thank you, raising a barn.
Yeah, it's those kind of covert, on code, dog whistle type comments I'm seeing week after week after week when it comes to Deion. It's not about the play on the field. It's not about, hey, he's done a good job with changing the culture. There is, what can we nitpick? What can we do to kind of get off our shots at him without trying to sound overly racist? And that's
exactly.
That's how it comes across.
But it's also gang-like, because not only is it the coaches and the football team, it's the announcers, it's the television, it's everything.
Yeah,
against him.
I mean, the deck is this, and the more successful he is, the more, like I said, you're going to start seeing stuff coming out about recruiting. How is he doing it?
And sponsorships.
Yep, you're going to start seeing that. How is he able to kind of get these deals? There's some undercover stuff going on, and I find that funny. When people make that analogy when we're talking about the University of Oregon, who's pretty much bankrolled. Football program is bankrolled by Phil Knight. So, You know,
Exactly.
you know, we're not going to talk about money and that guy, but you're going to start seeing that stuff. Like you said, the academics, you're going to start seeing those kind of stories kind of break out. Anything to discredit him, because you know they like their in the world of sports, they like they black men to be seen, not heard.
Right. Right. But they're critiquing him, and this is very important to make sure that at least we get it recorded in our space, being what we're concerned about, is that they're not critiquing him for based on the criteria for the position he holds. They're making it personal, and it's about the man.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this, you know, and I hate to say it, you know, it kind of comes with the territory. I've never seen it to this level. When we're talking about just a head football coach, I've never seen it at this level. But
They
it's
got the right
something.
one
Yeah, it's
because he's
something.
used to fame and attention.
That part. It's not like he's uncomfortable being in the spotlight. Yeah, Deion's been in the spotlight, you know, his whole life. I mean, he's
And
been in
if
the
he
spotlight.
can be okay with that music career, he can be okay with anything.
No shame, I ain't running from it. Yeah, I did it.
Oh, wee!
Yeah,
That
I
was a
did
juicy Jerry curl too. He
it.
had the curliest, juiciest Jerry curl.
Man, I remember Deion getting drafted with the curl and the chains. I said, boy,
Absolutely, absolutely.
if that ain't a Florida boy, I don't know what is.
What?
That ain't a Florida boy. I don't know what is.
Man, you could spot him a mile away. Like, yeah, you from Florida, shawty.
Yeah, but
Only thing he didn't have was a gold teeth.
I like this about Deion. Like, no matter what they're saying about him, even when he's taking shots back, is done in good taste. It's done. He doesn't
Absolutely.
reflect badly upon himself, because he could.
And he's not excited about it. He's very even keeled with it.
Yeah, you know, and that's another thing that bothers them about him. Like, he's not rattled. He's not.
Yeah, they can't trigger him.
They want to.
Oh, of course.
You know, they're waiting to find some kind of leaked audio of him cussing out let it be a white player. Oh, let it be a white player. He's dogging out on the sideline. It'll be viral.
Oh no, I think what it's really going to be outside of academics, that's one prediction. And hopefully I'm not speaking nothing terrible on them, but it'll be a situation between a black football player and some white girl on campus.
Yeah. And you know, it'll be, you know, Deion's got this laissez-faire culture. The players are running wild, and because I didn't know this until I read an article on it. I didn't know Boulder, Colorado was that predominantly white. I did not. I want to say it's like 98% white.
Straight milk.
So you talking about, you know, this man coming in, not just black, but coming in with the hip hop swag that is natural to us.
And a really black, like a clearly, unambiguously, to use somebody else's term, black man.
Yeah. It's like I said, I'm enjoying you know, the commentary. I'm enjoying how he's handling it. Like, and it's a good example, but like I said, this the black effect, man. Why is it that we got to be twice as good to get half of what they got? Like,
well, Dots, I'll say this. So theoretically, you know, whiteness is not possible. I mean, it's not visible until blackness enters the room. So what I'm going to say with Deion Sanders is this. He's going to be that truth serum. He's going to make you show your true colors. That's why these white folks are so uncomfortable. This black man has made them so uncomfortable. It's crazy. And I love it.
I love it too. And here's the thing. He's not even doing it intentionally.
Exactly. Just by his presence. And that speaks volumes of how just his presence and in the skin that he's in, with all the black stereotypes that, you know, white folks are scared of. He's doing it with style, grace, and class, and flair, and everything that's still him.
And let me bring up another point. And I was having a conversation with Miss Dots about this one day. She was like, do you think that not only him, you know, embracing the blackness, but here's another layer to it. The fact that he's showing a positive black male role model to his own children.
Absolutely. And the football team. He's mentoring them while shaping them into, solid players. He is teaching them how to be good people and men. I love it.
And
Responsible.
she brought that up,
Accountable.
and I was like, I wasn't even thinking about that. I get he's a role model for the team, but it's the fact that he has his kids playing for him.
Yep.
And his kids, not just the ones that's on the field, all his kids are involved in the program of some form of fashion, whether
Absolutely.
here it is, a black man, taking care of his kids, raising his kids. He's not a deadbeat. I think that's another layer that bothers him.
And a spiritual man.
That too. It's so many layers when you break down the Deion phenomena. Is crazy, and a lot of that stuff bothers them. They would love for him to be divorced, 2 or 3 baby mamas, a history of
not paying child support, domestic violence, a habit, whether it's drinking or drugs, all of that. Foreclosures, everything you could think of. Car with rims, all of that.
And I was listening to him doing an interview earlier today on FS1, and just to him, and when you get a chance, check it out. Him talking about the love he has for Michael Irvin, a man that has had his own trials and tribulations, but just to, for him to speak so honestly, it was nice to see. You got to check it out.
I will.
It was nice to see a black man, on a national stage like that, showing appreciation for a friend. And I know they was like rolling it. I was like, oh God, not he's a good guy too. Like
they're gonna work hard to hate this dude.
Like they're working overtime. They're working overtime to, and like I said, it's so many layers of how this is playing out and what I can see what they're trying to do. It's anything they can do to undermine this man, short term, undermine this man long term. They're going to do it. They're going to do it. It's crazy to watch from the outside. It's crazy, right? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know if I would have had the same temperament, for especially with the Colorado State coach saying that stuff. Like, man, it's like you low key taking a shot at my parenting. Like,
exactly. Like Cedric the Entertainer said, I'd be like, "What the fuck you say?
Like,
how about you say that you bring up my family? Oh, okay." Meet me in the parking lot.
We might have had a different conversation when we met at after the game. We
for sure.
You might have needed security.
Might have got a stiff arm instead of a doggone, handshake.
And not to sound overly religious to some people out there, but it's like, God has put him in the right place at the right time. Because like I said, it couldn't be me.
For sure. He's evidence that God is real, just like we see evidences that God is real and a lot of people who are able to rise above in these very contentious atmospheres. It's like, dude, what you gonna do? At the end of the day, I am still Deion Sanders, motherfucking Sanders, with the signature end zone dance that you can't touch it, and the bad rap career. So what? Didn't cost me nothing.
Man, like he's the perfect person for this storm.
For sure.
Off the top of my head, I don't think too many, especially professional athletes that I know, would have been able to handle it with this much style and grace. And the style part is like, I like that, but the grace part also, like, you're not gonna get me to act less than to satisfy a narrative that you have.
Absolutely. That's your problem, not mine. You're not going to make me own your problem. But listen, Dots, I have to go. I've got like 5% left on my phone, but it was important for me to be here on your Fridays, freestyle, because I just appreciate being able to have this type of, discourse.
Yeah. It is always a pleasure. Like I was gonna do something Wednesday, but I got kind of sidetracked with work because I want to do the kickback because something it's needed, not just for that space, but just hey, grown folks just having grown folks conversations and not hooting and hollering, and we walk away from the conversation better for it. So.
Right. And a chance to get to show like different levels of other people. Like, I don't think that people think, people, in that space are always talking about my academic acumen or lack thereof for those who want to come for me, but not realize that I can come over here with you and have a conversation to where you see that I know what I'm talking about, or that I'm interested in, what's going on in a different area that may not be my expertise. So, I can have conversations on, many levels with people, and, but it's not okay to, you can't do that with people constantly coming at you and wanting to, get you off your game when you're trying to stay focused and have like a real conversation.
Yeah.
And give another perspective.
I mean, it's I like to create those spaces, even in Mr. Chaos. I like to have some kind of decorum and order. It's best I can, because sometimes I get caught up in the bullshit too.
Of course. I mean, again, we got to have somewhere to like purge, but it's like, dude, can you not always stay on purge mode? Like, are you angry every day of your life? That kind of thing. So, as I said, I appreciate you having me up again, because I don't want my phone to be disrespectful and just cut off on you mid-sentence.
Okay.
But thank you for having me up as always. And I thoroughly enjoy, like, I make time and space for Friday night freestyle. Like, it's on the calendar.
Yeah. I'm gonna start recruiting some more people that some people that I vibe with, and have them kind of join in on the conversation, because it's healthy. It's healthy.
It is. And thank you for not making me feel bad about always hitting the link. Because again, I enjoy talking with you, and you don't misunderstand my excitement.
No, it's
for the
always,
subject.
Me. It's always a pleasure when anybody come up, because a lot of times over here it's just little old me, but I'm cool. I'm cool. But hey, it's always a pleasure for you to come up. Fall through anytime.
Thank you so much.
Here. And I guess I can wrap up this show and start prepping for the other stuff.
Oh Lord. Okay. Well, remember, I was on the front porch before it started, so I'm ready. I'm getting ready to go pop my popcorn now.
All right, man. I see you over there. I know you be in the clouds somewhere, but
yeah, I'll be in the clouds for sure.
All right.
All right, later.
Later. All right, brother of a certain age, what's going on, man? Hey, I'm making this part of my regular rotation. I like having these kind of conversations, not just in this space, but this, when I'm in the other space doing my build / kickback shows, and even with the front porch stuff, just having real conversations, and kind of keep all the phony and fake stuff to a minimum. In regards to me, like I like to be me. I like to be transparent about who I am, what I'm talking about, how I'm feeling, how I'm seeing the world. And, we'll kind of do that. But yeah, hey, when we're going to get some content out of you, I'm a stickler. I'm a stickler for always, trying to promote people, trying to encourage people to do stuff. I was digging the shows, especially the collabs you were doing with the partner. So I was really liking that stuff, man. Yeah, it's always fall through. It's sucker free over here. Yes, beautiful, good conversation. I always, like I said, the Freestyle Friday stuff, the kickback stuff, I always enjoy those shows a bit more, because I can always, walk away from it, with something real tangible, and it always leads to follow up conversations. The other Friday show, it's cool. It's cool. I mean, it's something different. But these shows right here, this is the ones I really like, because it's kind of like let your hair down. You don't have to, be your YouTube character or persona. This kind of be you. Say what you got to say, feel how you feel, and we'll kind of keep it like that. We'll be back Tuesday over here, doing the week 4 recap. Beautiful. I'm gonna try to get a show in Wednesday. I'm gonna try. Work got kind of hectic. I'm gonna try to get a show in Wednesday. I should be able to this week. And then we'll be back Thursday, Freestyle Friday. We'll be doing it again. Same bad time, same bad channel. Thank you everybody for coming in, listening to little old me. Yeah. Brother of a certain age, I would love to this is kind of pick your brain just have like grown man conversations about this random stuff. I was thinking about, since y'all over here, y'all are like, select few I kind of let into my personal space, those that know I'm over here. I'm thinking about with the Wednesday show, I'm thinking about reaching out to a couple people, a couple men, married men, and having a discussion on the trials and tribulations of marriage. How do you deal with this? How do you handle this? And this, I think it'd be a good good forum for the men that want to participate to really kind of sit up and learn from one another. Hey, I take from each and every one of you when I'm around. Take little bits and pieces there. Some people I take chunks from. And kind of add it into what I do, remix it into what I do. But yeah. Wednesday good. Okay, Wednesday is good. Beautiful. I'm gonna try to set it up. Wednesday, I'm gonna reach out to a couple of people and see if we can get that show popping. If not, if they don't participate, me, I'll get up there and rock out the mic, my goddamn self. Let me get out of here because I'm just kind of rambling at this point. Thank you guys for coming out. As always, it's always appreciated. Thank you. End you off with the phrase that pays over here. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but every time you learn. And I'm out.